Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to integrate FFmpeg with C++ in native Android application with Kotlin. So we will be making use of Kotlin as well as FFmpeg and C++. Now this particular tutorial is mostly focused on integration of FFmpeg with C++. So yeah, let's get started. Now some of you might be wondering why to use C++. There is FFmpeg kit already available in which we can write Java or Kotlin code easily. But if you notice that particular GitHub repository, it is not has been it has last update was September 2023, and while recording this video it is already 2024 and like December of 2024 I'm recording. I think by January you should be able to view this video. But yeah, that's why I don't like it. Again, I'm not blaming the creator of that particular library. He is doing a great job. It's just that he might not be finding the time for it, and I don't blame him. Like open source is difficult. Anyways, let's get back to our code. So I will be using this. Like now, this is not a library. What this particular guy has done is that so the main FFmpeg library, which is written in C or C++, it has all sorts of code, but we only require Android specific code. So this guy has written a build script and it gets updated. Like I have been keeping an eye on this, and this guy is updating every time a new version of FFmpeg is available. So we don't have to worry about staying behind. You just have to update this particular library, but integrating this library in native Android application is a challenge. That's why I'm making this video. Even it took me a lot of time to figure it out. Now I'm not a C++ expert. What basic thing we will do is, once we have done with the integration, we will just get the duration of a video, also the FFmpeg version. So I'll just create two simple methods in C++. Again, like I said, I am not an expert in C++. That's why I'm not doing some advanced stuff. But if you are curious how to do video editing, there is a Media 3 transformer library already available in native Android application. I have in native Android, I have already done tons of videos on that. If you are curious, like applying grayscale filter, changing width and height, applying different kinds of filter, trimming a video, lots of things I have done, like converting image to video. Lot of things I have already done. But yeah, there are some advanced steps which Media 3 transformer does not support, and then you will have to fall back to FFmpeg. So yeah, lot of talk from my side. Let's get to the code. Now I have created one cheat sheet because it's very difficult for me to remember everything. So first what you can do is just create this folder called whatever you want to name it. I have just named it as Android stuff, but name it whatever you feel like. Next, you just have to download this repository. So I will just clone it. It's pretty quick. Okay, then what I'll do, I'll just unzip this. I will just delete the zip folder and I'll just move this unzip to our Android stuff folder. Okay, then first we will have to run this particular command. So what I'll do, I'll just open my terminal. I'll just cd to this particular FFmpeg Android maker master folder. So I'll do like this. I'll clear everything out. Okay, I'll just delete this as well, and I'll just now run this particular command. Now this will take little bit of time, so be patient. Yeah, in the meantime what we can do is we will start with the Android code. So we'll just create an Android project. So this is just another project which I had, ignore that. I'll just create a new project. I'm using XML layout. Feel free to use Jetpack Compose if you want to. So I'll just use this empty views activity. I'll just name my project whatever you feel like, my Android app. Okay, and then I will create the folder inside that Android stuff folder which I have created. So I'll just create it over here, but I will create it in its own folder. So something like this. I'll click on finish. Again, now Gradle syncing will also take a little bit of time, so be patient, but it should be pretty quick. So this is also building. Let's just wait for both of this to build. So hopefully Gradle syncing should be pretty quick. Now also one more thing which I want to tell you is, if after running this particular command inside your terminal, so currently it is running fine for me, it is still building, right? But if you get an error like saying the Android SDK home environment variable is not set, you will have to run something like this inside your terminal, and then you will have to run this, and then you will have to run this. I'm using Z shell, which is the default in Mac OS terminal, that's why I have to run this. But you will have to change the command a little bit if you are using Bash or Windows, and then I have to just run this. And then once the Android SDK home path is set properly, again you can just run this particular command, which is the same. Most of you might already have the SDK home properly set, so you won't have to worry, but you will have to check this Android NDK home as well. Also, if I show you, you will also need to go to not device manager, Android Studio settings, Android SDK. Here inside SDK platform, make sure go to SDK tools, sorry, and here make sure you see inside NDK you select whatever is the latest. I already have this and this, so you just have to select one, just select the latest, it should work fine for you. I think this is not still in RC phase, that's why I have not selected it. But yeah, I think you can select the 27 one, but if the 28 one is not in RC phase, then you can select the 28 one as well. Also you require CMake, so also make sure you install this whatever is the latest SDK command line tools. And CMake I am using 3.22.1, but yeah, you can use the latest, whatever you feel like is correct. And also Android SDK platform, Google Play licensing, yeah, this should be pretty okay. All right, so install all those packages. So yeah, this is still building. So next we'll have to write some code. So what I'll do is I'll just copy all this imports. So basically on the Kotlin side, what I will do is I will create one button. On click of it, we will be open the video picker, and yeah, and we just require the URI of the picked video. So I will just come to our main activity. I'll just copy some imports. I want to keep everything as much simple as possible. Okay, now here you can see I have multiple imports, that's why it is giving me an error. So I'll just remove this duplicate import so that error is gone. So your import should look something like this. Next here I will just copy this, and then I'll explain it to you. Just copy this, and here I will copy this. Okay, just bear with me for a second, don't worry too much about it. Original path. I will show you the code in a bit. It's just giving me some errors because I don't have all the code for it. Okay. Okay, so also I will just go to activity underscore main, and I will add one button. Okay, so coming back to the code, inside activity underscore main.xml, I have just added one button. On click of it, we will just pick video. If you want, you can change the name to pick video, doesn't really matter. Okay, so just create a button inside activity underscore main, and here I have given it some ID so that I can just get hold of this button and add a click listener to it. Coming back to our main activity, here you can see firstly I am creating this file path. Okay, a file path variable, which I will come back shortly. Then inside on create, I am creating this external file because we want I'm not sure if this is needed or not. Let me quickly check. Yeah, I think it is needed. Okay, it is needed. I'll tell you why. Here we are creating our external file. Then here I have created a method called get FFmpeg version. Now the implementation of this will need to be written in C++. Now for this you will have to write something like this, get FFmpeg version. So whatever method you are going to write in C++, you will have to annotate it with external. So that's will give a indication to Android Studio that okay, this method will be written in C++, and you can just call it like a normal method inside your Kotlin code. So the two things you will have to do: create a method. I have given it a return type of string, and it will tell me what version of FFmpeg I am running, and again the implementation will be written in C++ side. Similarly for get video metadata as well, I'm just passing the file path of the picked video, and once it has given, again the implementation will be written in C++ because we have written the external keyword over here, and it will give me some metadata about my video, where we will also get the video duration in seconds as well. Okay, so that's what I'm doing inside onCreate. I'm just getting the FFmpeg version as soon as our app launches. And here you can see on the button click, I'm just doing new video picker.launch pick visual media request, and here I'm filtering by videos only. So this, once you call this code, it will come over here, new video picker, register for activity result. So once you have the URI, but if you remember in Android, the URI is not the actual file path URI. It is something like content : FFmpeg or C++ code will not understand that. So you will have to create your own file to get the actual URI. So once you have the URI, you can just save it to some internal storage of your app. So that's what I'm doing, and getting the actual file path of the saved video. Once we have the original path, I'm just sending it to our get video metadata method. Again, if you are confused, here we have defined the get video metadata. Implementation will be in C++ because we have written external keyword over here. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I'm calling over here, and once I have the metadata, I'm just logging it to the console. Pretty simple. Okay, if you want, you can just do something like this as well. Just add an import for this. So here you can see I've added an import for this. One more thing which I want to tell you is, we will be adding a C++ module to our Android Studio project. Now once I add a C++ module, now everything stops working, like IntelliSense stop working inside a Kotlin file. So this is a bug in Android Studio. You can face this issue. I have faced this issue a lot of times. So yeah, just be careful with that. Also, I'll just remove all these dead imports. We don't really need this. Okay, so yeah, again ignore this. Again, this is an Android Studio bug. This button is already present inside our activity_main. Now here is the code for creating external file. Now even I have just copy pasted this code from Stack Overflow. I'm not really good at this, but once we have the URI of the picked video, we need to convert it to a proper file path URL. So that's why we use this create external file code as well. Okay, and here we use the get file from you. I don't know whether is this really required. Let me check. I don't think so it is required. Unnecessary code. Yeah, that is not required. Sorry about that. You can just ignore that code. Okay. So that is not required. This is required, like getting the file path from URI. So once we have the URI of the picked video, we send it over here. Then again we just get our content resolver. Okay, again this is not unnecessary. I can just use it like this, and here I'm just checking the scheme, and here with the help of content resolver.query passing the URI, we get hold of our file path, the absolute path of the file. So that's what we are doing over here. Okay, and these are our external C++ function which we are going to create soon. So hopefully you got the point. Again, I'll simply scroll through this file. I know a lot of things are happening over here, but unfortunately that's the reality of working with C++. Again, we have not really started with C++ yet, but yeah, this is for, this gets called once the video picker is launched. Again, is this required? Okay, yeah, this is required. No, even this is not required, I think. Why is this required? Let's see if I'll just trying to remove as much code as possible because I want to keep things simple. Okay, so here this gets called once the user picks a video on button click. We the URI is not in proper format, this particular one. We need to convert it to proper file path. So that's what I'm doing it over here, and then sending this file path to this method which will be implemented in C++. And once I have the value, I'm just printing it to the console. Here I'm just getting the FFmpeg version as soon as our app launch. Again, this will be implemented in C++, and on button click we just launch our video picker. This is the method for converting the URI of the picked video to actual file path. So that's what I'm doing over here. Okay, and again these two methods I have defined because we need to, as external, again this is important because we need to write the C++ implementation over in this particular file. All right, okay, so this is done. Now let's go back to our terminal. Okay, so this is still running. Let it run. Again, this will take a little bit of time. In the meantime, what we will have to do is we'll just have to go to project, just right click, new, no, not new, you just have to right click and just do click on this add C++ to module. Okay, the second option, and just click on OK over here. Now it will automatically add C++. We don't have to worry too much about it. Now if you see, if this file is not opened automatically for you, you can just go to app, Kotlin plus Java, sorry, not Kotlin plus Java, let the Gradle sync finish. I think this is still not taken effect. But we need, inside our Kotlin code, we need to add companion object as well. So this particular bit of code which you see over here. So if you are using Java, you can use this particular code, but we are using Kotlin. So here you can see it has created the C++ folder. So just go to C++ and here you will see the CPP file. Just click on it. Now we need to copy this code. This is necessary because we need to load our C++ library, and this is how you load it. Now don't copy my name which is given over here. This is typically your Android project name. Whatever the CPP file is telling you, whatever is the name of your project over here, you should copy that. So I'll just uncomment this. I'll just cut it. I'll go to main activity.kt, and here I'll just scroll up and I'll paste it over here. Again, this will automatically load our C++ library, and this should be your own project name. Don't copy my project name. Okay, and here now it is showing error because we have not created these two files inside our C++, which is correct. So what I'll do, I'll just remove all this unnecessary commented code. Now easiest thing to create external this particular method names in C++ is, don't create it manually, let Android do all the hard work for you. So I'll just right click, option enter. On Mac I'm not sure what the shortcut is for Windows, and here you can see create JNI function for get FFmpeg version. So I'll just click on this. It will automatically create for me. Now like I told you, you should leave it to Android Studio to create it, because here you can see this is my package name. This will be different for you, so that's why don't create it manually. Also this is our activity name, this could be again different for you, and this is our actual C++ method name. So yeah, it's better don't create it manually, let Android Studio do the heavy lifting for you. Same thing for the other file as well. So here you can see now this error is gone. So I'll just right click, create JNI function, get video metadata. So again it has automatically created for me. I don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so this is done as well. Now I will just copy paste some C++ code. I have no idea about this. So yeah, even I have tried asking ChatGPT, Claude AI, even they get confused about this. So this is pretty difficult code, but yeah, again I want to keep things simple. So firstly we'll have to copy all these imports inside our C++ file. So we already have this GNI. I'll just remove this and paste it over here. So these are all the imports. Now these all imports you will get it from our FFmpeg project, which is still building. Unfortunately it is taking a lot of time, but at least we'll write all the code. Later on all these errors will go away. Okay, so we have added all this import, and this we are doing extern C because as far as I can understand FFmpeg is purely C, but here we are trying to use it in C++. That's why we have to do something like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, even I'm not an expert in all this stuff. Now to get the FFmpeg version, we just have to use this particular bit of code. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay, again this is giving error because we have not yet integrated. This is fine. This will get automatically resolved. And for getting the metadata, this is all the code. Again I'm sorry, I don't understand all this. I have just used AI for this, but yeah, even using AI it doesn't give proper answers. I'm warning you that. You might be thinking, okay, let's just ask the C++ code to ChatGPT or Claude or Grok, whatever you are using. Even that trips up, doesn't give proper answer. So I have just copied all this code. Feel free to pause the video and just copy all this code. I think the reason why this all this AI tool trips up with C++ is because there is not much out there, especially using FFmpeg with C++ in Android. That's the other part. Most people use FFmpeg with desktop kind of a software. That's the most trickiest part, how to use it with Android in Android Studio and making it call from Java and Kotlin. Very difficult to for any kind of AI tool to understand, at least for now, because there are not much resources online available, so even they can't learn from it, and even we can't learn from it, so it's very difficult. So yeah, again, ignore all these errors. So this is all the code. Feel free to pause the video and just copy all the code if you want to. Okay, so this is done. Next thing is CMake. So this is I really wanted this to compile. Let's come back to CMake later on. The next thing is this NDK filter which we have to apply inside build.gradle, because the FFmpeg code which we are trying to compile, it will give it for different Android architecture, and it's better if you are trying to upload your app to Play Store, you use the Android app bundle or split APKs. Otherwise your APK size would be very large, because we will be including all different types of Android architecture, right? So go to Gradle scripts, go to build.gradle, and inside default config, after this external native build, so this was automatically added once we add the C++ module to our Android project. So I'll just what I'll do, I'll just copy this particular part and I'll paste it over here. So these are all the architecture. Again, I'm using Kotlin Gradle, which is by default when you create a new Android project. So if you are using Groovy Gradle, this might you might need to change this. Otherwise you will get error. You can't directly use add all in Groovy. So but yeah, these are all the different architectures which are available for Android, or which we get from FFmpeg after it has been compiled. Okay, and we also need to add the source sets. So inside the main folder, we will be creating this particular folder which will have all the compiled code. So what we'll have to do is we'll also have to write this particular code. So inside this particular, so what I'll do is I'll just go back to our Android project, go to app. If you want to create it from Android Studio, that is fine as well. Go to main, and inside main we'll have to create this particular folder, FFmpeg Android maker. Okay, I'll just right click, create this particular folder. Okay, now I will just click on sync now to download all the dependencies. Again, this will take a little bit of time. So yeah, I think this is little frustrating because this is taking a lot of time. But yeah, anyways, what I can do is I will just go to cmake list.txt, and at least I will write all the cmake list code, and then I'll explain it to you what exactly we are doing. So I'll just go over here. Okay, so we already have the so if I just open over here, so here you can see we already have the CMake version, we have the project name as well, don't change that. Then we need to add this particular bit of code. I'll just add this over here. Okay, I will explain it to you. Even I am not an pro in CMake as well. Again, CMake is kind of like a build tool for C++, just like we have build Gradle for Android. That's what I understood. Then we have to add this include directories as well, and then we have to set this particular things as well. And then here we have to add this for each loop as well. So I'll just add this, and I will also need to add this add library. So I'll add this, and I think okay, this add library is already there. Sorry, don't add this add library is already there. You don't need this. Then inside target link libraries, I think JNI graphics is not necessary, but I'm adding it. You would require it if you're doing something with bitmap inside your C++ code. I will forget it later on, that's why I'm adding it right now. And here we just have to add this FFmpeg libs name as well. Okay, don't sync it now, it will I think throw error. Okay, I'll just sync it now. I think it will not throw an error. Let's see. Yeah, it didn't throw me an error, but at the time of compilation it will throw an error because we still haven't done with this. So what I will do is I will just wait for this to complete, and once this is complete I'll come back again. Okay, so finally the compilation is done. So what I can do is I can just go to this FFmpeg Android Maker Master. Here you will see the output folder. It has the include and lib folder. So we'll just have to copy this output folder, go to your Android project, go to main, go to the FFmpeg Android Maker folder which we have created, just paste it over here. So again, as you can see, it is almost 100 MB. That's why I told you you should use Split APK or Android App Bundle if you are deploying to Play Store. And if you are smart enough, you don't require all these libraries. Okay, so here you can see there are a lot of things. So there are inside include, there are different Android architecture, same for lib as well, and it has all the shared libraries or SO. I think SO is shared libraries, correct me if I am wrong, but hopefully you got the point. Now I will come back to CMake and explain it to you. So if you remember, firstly inside our build.gradle, that's why we added this output and lib folder as well, because this FFmpeg Android Maker has an output as well, and inside that it has lib. So it requires the Gradle file requires the path of our shared library. So that's what I have sent over here. Coming back to our CMake, this was present by default, this was present by default. So firstly I'm setting up a variable. So here is a variable called FFmpeg directory, and the value which you are setting is, so this CMake source directory is this particular part, because the CMake file is over here, right? So the CMake source directory path will be up to CPP folder, but our this is located outside the CPP. That's why we are moving it outside, one path, one folder behind. Then go to the FFmpeg Android Maker folder, go to the output folder. So this particular path has been set to this particular variable. Similarly for FFmpeg libs as well, whatever is the path of this FFmpeg directory, go there. Inside that you will see a lib folder over here which we have, and this is the Android ABIs. That means all the different Android architectures. So here you can see we have all the different Android architectures. That's what Android ABI refers to. Then we set the library names as well. So again, this is another variable, and the values inside this particular list would be all these things which we have. AV codec, ignore the lib part and the .so part. AV codec, AV device, AV filter, AV format, AV util, HW resample, HW scale. Same thing are present in other architectures as well. So that's what we are setting over here. Now, as you can know, there are different architectures, so we don't want to set each and every architecture by hand. That's why we are using a for each loop. We just loop over this FFmpeg lib names and just do add library, pass the FFmpeg lib name, shared, imported. Now even this I don't understand, basically like importing the shared library which we have. Then we are setting this target properties. Again, even I don't know all this. But here we just do FFmpeg, then the lib folder. So here you can see, because we didn't add lib over here, that's why we are adding lib over here, and then whatever is the lib name. So it could be AV codec, AV device, then the .so. Then we are ending our for each loop. Yeah, this was already there. And then here we just, again, this is not part of FFmpeg. This is an Android C++ library to play around with bitmaps in C++, I guess. And this is just FFmpeg lib names which we had created. So over here. Okay, so that's what we are defining over here. So I think that should be it. Let me just run the application on my real device. Hopefully this should run. There should not be any error. Again, I'm mirroring my device, so I don't have a USB to connect to my MacBook for my Android device. Again, let me reiterate, run it on a real Android device. Okay, we definitely have some error, I guess. No, we don't have any error. This error should also go away. Okay, we do have an error. I know why this is, because the file path name is different, right? So let me again go back to my cheat sheet. File path. Okay, so here it was named little bit different, but while we created this method by Android Store, it was named little different. So I can just name it as file path over here. No big deal, I think. over here as well, file path. Yeah, these two things looks fine. Let me try to rerun it again. But now you can see all the errors from our C++ code is gone. Okay, yeah, this is fine. I just need to update it to HDK 35. Whatever is the latest version, make sure you update it to 35 inside, or whatever is the latest version, update it inside your build.gradle file. This has nothing to do with FFmpeg. So I'll just rerun my application. Hopefully this third time's the charm. Again, I would recommend run it on a real device. Don't run it on the emulator. Also, like I am mirroring my device, so I have connected via Wi-Fi debugging. So this will take little bit of time to install, because I shown you, right. I'm like we are not created any Android app bundle or split APKs. We are directly installing our app. So I think the app size might be around 90 or 95 MB. But yeah, I think this is pretty quick. Let me just show my Android device. Okay, I think it has already so I'll just rerun my application, because I want to show you guys the FFmpeg version as well, because I'm just displaying the toast message, right, as soon as our app is launched. So here you can see FFmpeg version 7.1, so which is the latest at the time of me recording this video. Now I will open my logcat, because we want to see the metadata as well, right. So for metadata, I will just filter. This is the log, right. I'll just filter by this. Just do this. Okay, I'll just click on pick video. I'll select the third video, which is 15 seconds long. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's see. And here you can see it has given duration almost 15 seconds long. I'll again click on pick video. Now the first video is almost 2 hours long, 2 hours 3 seconds, 39 milliseconds, I guess, something like that. Now this might take little bit of time, even though, okay, I have just lost my connection. I'll just reconnect it. So yeah, as you can see, the video was very big. It was almost around 2 hours long. So finding the metadata for that particular video is taking a little bit of time. Let's just wait. Hopefully it should show. Sometimes it is pretty quick. Okay, here you can see. So yeah, 7,419 seconds is almost like 2 hours. You can do the calculation. I'll just do it one more, just for the just to show off. And the second video is 1 second long, so I'll just click on it. So this was pretty quick. Yes, sorry, 1 minute long, and it is almost 60 seconds. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you find this tutorial helpful. If you have any tutorials on where I can learn C++ for FFmpeg, do let me know in the comments. I would love to make more tutorials on this. But yeah, for now I think this is the only tutorial which I'm capable of. Thank you for watching. Bye.